chase. Despite a 193-point lead, Greg Biffle continues to race his fellow Ford rival, Mike Wallace, all the way to the wire.
He's in a position where he could ride, but he's shown he's going to race all the way to the end, and my hat's off to him. We still got to hope for him to have a bad day. I was hoping he'd run into me hard enough he'd spin himself out, but he never did.
But now we come to Nashville, where Biffle knows championships can be lost quickly. Wallace just hopes that his number 2 can become number 1 before the season comes to a close.
Mike Wallace has qualified the ASU Ford 19 positions better than Greg Biffle. And knowing that only one bad finish by the Granger team can give Jim Smith and the Ultra Bad Boys their first ever NASCAR championship, Mike Wallace hopes the only view he has of Greg Biffle tonight is in his rearview mirror.
Greg Biffle loosened up his truck for qualifying. It was too loose. He will start 23rd. That means there are 11 rows of potential trouble ahead of him. He'll have to look far ahead, make great use of his spotter to avoid the potential wrecks here at Nashville, because tonight, a championship hangs in the balance. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and NASCAR 2000. Tonight, from Nashville, Tennessee. That's downtown, the view from historic Nashville Speedway, USA, for the Federated Auto Parts 250, round 19 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Taking a look at the points championship chase coming into tonight's action. Greg Biffle by 193 markers over Mike Wallace, but the Roush team has a goal, getting 22-year-old rookie Kurt Busch ahead of Wallace for a Roush Racing sweep. Want to welcome Phil Parsons with over 200 Winston Cup starts, 270 Busch starts. Glad to have you back in the booth, Phil.
Thanks, Marty. Great to be here.
Dave Burns and Amy East down in pit lane, and as you can see, the trucks are already on the track for the first of 3 pace laps. And let's set our Mopar starting grid for you. Jimmy McMurray, what a story. Moving over to the 41 truck, second pole in 3 races. Scott Riggs starting 3rd, and there's points leader Mike Wallace in 4th.
You got Kurt Busch back in 12th position. That's the highest qualifying Roush truck.
And it's only the 3rd time ever that they've been outside the top 10. You got to go all the way to the 23rd position. Worst start of the season for our points leader, Greg Biffle. Could be a big problem for him, and a lot of big names at the bottom of the list. Jimmy Hensley has won this race, though, from the 30th starting position. And a little bit of history. Randy McDonald and Jason Thomer from Canada. Carlos Contreras from Mexico. And that equals a top 4 international flavor. Here's who missed the field. Brian Rose by 2/1000ths of a second. Also, McGlynn, Gill, Sanders, Edwards, and Jeff Beck. That's not all. There were 6 more. Conrad Burr, R.D. Smith, Phil Bonifield, Lonnie Richardson, Tim Martin, and yes, Bobby Hamilton Jr. But that was because they blew an engine in practice and did not have enough time to get one installed for qualifying.
We're going to have 4 onboard trucks. We got Rick Crawford in the Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford. We also have the number 18 truck, last week's winner, Joe Ruttman in the Dana Corporation Dodge. Second place point man, Mike Wallace in the Team ASE Racing Ford. And Scott Riggs, the rookie that continues to impress, in the Royal Crown Cola Dodge.
Lights are out on the pace truck. As we are getting ready, that's the man in the middle there, Roy Selby. He is the chief flagman for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. On the backstretch now, as they are making their way around at about 40 miles an hour. Pit lane speed tonight will be 35. And tire wear, Phil, is going to be the key to this race.
It really is. This is a very abrasive circuit. The guys don't want to drive in turn 1 and kill that right front tire, Marty, before they even get started.
We'll keep our eyes on that. You keep your eyes on the action, because the Federated Auto Parts 250, round 19 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, is now green.
Green, 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 green.
Jack Sprague drove it down in turn 1 real hard, Marty, and jumped out in the lead.
Coming out of turn 4, he has the high line and will lead lap number 1 here in Nashville, Tennessee. McMurray McMurray falls into second place. Then it is Mike Wallace and Scott Riggs. That rounds out your top 4. And Rob Morgan has moved into the 5th spot, but now is under attack from the number 60. And yes, Houston has gotten around for 5th.
The groove the guys are running right now, Marty, is nothing like what they qualified. They qualified right on the bottom of the racetrack. Look at the line Jack Sprague's using. He's going up in the center of the corner, diming the racetrack, turning it back down to the bottom.
Could that be because of the abrasive nature down in the lower race line?
Well, and it gets so slick. So many cars and trucks over the years have run on the bottom of the racetrack that it's getting worn out, too. The racetrack was paved about 4 years ago, but it's worn out.
There is the 84, Chad Chaffin. He is a regular here, and this is where he cut his teeth. He has gotten around the 46 of Rob Morgan as well, so Morgan is backing up from his 6th starting position. There is the battle for the race lead. Sprague and McMurray. Now, McMurray told both of us, he said, I'm not going to do anything stupid. I know Sprague still has an outside shot of the championship, but he wasn't going to give him anything out there as well.
Well, absolutely. I think Jamie McMurray would like to lead this race if it's comfortable. If he can go up there, if he can put a little pressure on Jack, get the lead, I think he'd love to do that.
On board with Mike Wallace. Wallace currently running in 3rd, 0.6 of a second behind the race leader. Speaking of the race lead, Jamie McMurray, a bad omen possibly for him. No racer has ever won from the pole here at Nashville. And there is Joe Ruttman just streaking through our shot. Ruttman struggling as well. He started 20th. Ruttman has moved up to the 16th. That is
Dennis Setzer right in front of him in the Team Mopar Dodge.
And Marty Houston right in front of Setzer. And that is a battle for 14th, 15th, and 16th.
You know, one consolation, we've talked about Greg Biffle starting so far back. Jimmy Hensley actually won this race from the 30th starting position.
Ruttman coming off the big win at IRP made big headlines when right before the race Bobby Hamilton said, you win, you got a new contract. And he went out and won from the pole. There is Greg Biffle. Now Biffle still trying to work his way up. He has picked up 3 positions. He is in 20th right now.
Actually moved by Tony Roper to take 19th position, so he's moved up 4 in 8 laps. That's not too bad.
Next target is the number 17 of Ricky Hendrick.
Pressure from behind. You can settle down if you want to just a little bit. You're doing good, Greg. You're doing really good.
That's Max Jones spotting for Greg. And there you heard crew chief Randy Goss telling him what lap. And Max is obviously thinking tire wear there.
Absolutely. I talked to a lot of the guys before the race. You know, they're only going to be allowed 3 sets of tires for this whole race. The set they're on right now and then change twice. And they're really worried that they're going to be able to last.
A lot of rubbing going on between the 2 Dodges. And the 18's got a nice little donut on it. And I bet you if we get a close-up of the Mopar number 1 of Setzer, he might have one as well. And they're still side by side.
It seems like 10 laps into a 250-lap race. Joe Ruttman used the whole racetrack right there.
Well, Ruttman's got the position, but at what cost?
You really don't want to abuse the tires, especially if you start the race with the air pressure down. Goodyear recommends you start 30 pounds on the right side, 20 pounds on the left side. These guys, because they run so long and build up so much air, they'll start with, you know, maybe 3, 4, 5 pounds even down below. So you don't want to really run them too hard until you get some air pressure built up.
On board with Joe Ruttman, and right now Ruttman up to 15th position. You know, as we talk about Nashville tonight, the Speedway, our final NASCAR touring event ever here. The first auto race, June 14th, 1904. The total purse, $150. Damage on the right front of the B12 Chem Tool Chevrolet, and we'll be able to go back and show you several guys involved in this. And let's go back and show you what happened to B.A. first. He's in the number 73.
It looks like he got in some fluid or something. Actually, the 46 truck started. Looked like he blew a radiator hose or something. Looked like B.A. got in the fluid and got up loose. Didn't hit the wall too hard, so not too much damage.
Well, keep an eye on Rob Morgan, the Axiom Ford, number 46.
He's on the outside of Dennis Setzer. Joe Ruttman had just gone by him. Looks like, I don't know, it looks like maybe a radiator hose come off. It almost looks like he possibly even locked up the left front brake, but then the guys behind it got into some trouble. Here's Tony Roper in the 26. Looked like he got some fluid, definitely got some fluid, and then David Starr in the 7 was also involved in this. Not a great deal of damage, but unfortunately Tony Roper stalled the truck trying to get back going.
So as Phil pointed out, not a lot of damage for anybody, but obviously we'll keep our eyes on the 46 to see if there was a problem. Right now, the leader is that man right there, Jack Sprague. Jamie McMurray is in second. Stay with us. We'll take a commercial break and come back to Nashville. Capacity tonight. We are under our first caution here at the Federated Auto Parts 250. Phil Parsons along with Marty Reed, and down at pit lane, Dave Burns and Amy East. And the lights have just gone out on the pace truck, so it looks like we are going to get back to green flag racing next time by. The final time a NASCAR Touring Series will stop here at this historic speedway.
This is a great racetrack, Marty. I first came here to race in 1979 in a NASCAR Baby Grand Division, which is now called the Goodies Dash Series. So it's been a lot of fun over the years.
Let's get an update. There is Rob Morgan. Amy, what have we got?
Well, Phil, you were right. He did lock up the left front, and therefore on lap 16, Rob Morgan came down and took on left side tires, found that the left front was flat spotted. They came down one lap later to check the right side. They were okay, but no fluid is leaking from the Axiom Ford. Dave Burns?
V.A. Wilson overcame major braking problems this weekend. Then to have this accident, they came in, checked the right front. They believe that it is true, but they also pulled away the fender on the right front as well and sent V.A. back out.
And V.A. currently running 29th. Rob Morgan in 27th position. And everybody else on the lead lap except for David Starr. And Tony Roper's behind the wall, we should point out. He's in 34th. Hey, X Games fans, it is coming up in just a little bit more than a week.
X Games 2000 soar back to the pier in San Francisco.
The Miracle Boy in the house. Travis Pastrana. That is the exclamation point of a champion. I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. I said I'm going back to Cali where the sunshine sets. Maybe me wet. I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali.
X Games 6 San Francisco. Coverage begins August 19th on ABC and August 20th on ESPN.
And we've got our own X Game excitement here. It's just got a little more horsepower under the hood. And the restart has just taken place, ending our first caution. Dave Starr in second behind Jack Sprague. He is actually one lap down. So Jamie McMurray in the 41 Ferris Concrete Dodge is your second place battle. And look at this rubbing going on. Kurt Busch and the 66 of Rick Corelli. Right in front of him is Steve Grissom.
Good hard racing going on real early.
That's a battle for 10th on the racetrack, and Corelli now has 10th place.
Looks like the outside group is really working in right fine, Marty.
And that's going to save tire wear, because if you take a walk, look at how chewed up that inside line is. And as you come across it, you either catch it with your right side tires or the left side. Tire wear is so critical here. Talking to the drivers, that's the one thing they're worried about. Fuel is not the issue tonight. Boy, Busch all over him. Just celebrated a birthday, turned 22, the old man. August 4th was his birthday. There is Andy Houston, and boy, has Andy shaken up the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series right in front of Randy Tolsma. That's a battle for 6th. Andy has already made it known he is not going to be back with the Cat Reynolds Chevy team next year. So silly season is really starting to take off now in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Look at that debris on the middle of the track. Amy, what have you got from pit lane?
Well, just checking in with Andy Houston's team. Oh, looks like we have a crash.
David Starr has tagged the wall hard into turn number 3, and you could see from our camera shot as he nailed it.
You know, Marty, he was involved in that earlier spin there. I wonder if he flat spotted his tires and then went out there just now and blew one out.
I wonder, you may be right, Phil, that right front, it is flat. Whether it was from the contact with the wall, we'll have to wait and see. But there is the 24, and so far the yellow has not come out. Now here's the debris earlier. Now there it comes flying out on the track. Now where is David Starr? Now here is Starr. Watch the number 7.
Yeah, it's obvious he cut down a right front tire before he ever got to the turn.
I wonder if he may have made contact with that debris and just was not in the camera shot at the time. But meanwhile, the race has stayed green, which I'm totally amazed at. But there is your battle for first place between the 24 and the 41. Sprague has it. McMurray wants it.
It looks like McMurray is really getting off the corner well. We saw Jack Sprague kind of wiggle a little bit getting off the corner, and Jamie McMurray was just as straight as he could be.
Let's get an update on Jamie McMurray from Amy East.
Well, it's funny that you should say that, Bill, because Jamie McMurray is radioing into his team right now that he feels as though the truck is extremely looped coming off of the corners. But they're telling him just to hang in there and drive it the best he can. Although we know loop is fast, he wants this lead from Sprague. They're telling him patience, patience, patience. But that's going to be very hard for Jamie McMurray.
Well, McMurray has never led here at Nashville, and he's trying right now. They're side by side. Sprague, on the other hand, has dominated at this track over the years. Won it in 97, third in 96, fifth in 99. In fact, he's led 193 laps going into tonight's action.
Really good racing. You see Jack Sprague giving Jamie a lot of room on the bottom, and vice versa. Other than that little tap right there, Marty.
Don't make it too hard.
McMurray had contact with the 24. That was the radio you hear to the 41 of Jamie McMurray. He almost lost control coming out of turn 2 and gathered it up nicely, but has fallen back. You know, we're talking about Nashville Speedway, USA. Barney Oldfield set the track record in 1907, running just under 60 miles an hour. We're a little faster than that tonight. Of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, you're looking at Rick Ware in the Dunlap Golf Chevrolet. He has brought out our second caution here on lap 42. He spun coming out of turn number 4, made some contact with the inside wall, and let's go back and show you what happened.
Right in front of the leader. Look, Rob Morgan may have had some contact with him in the round, just minor contact with the inside wall.
But it was enough that he stalled, and long enough that NASCAR had to bring out our second caution flag here. Last year, we had 9 cautions for 51 laps. The record is 13. That was set back in 1996. Ware has got it started again, as you can see, and has fallen back in the line. But he did lose a lap. He's in 31st position. He's heading for pit lane. Your leader right now is Jack Sprague. And there is Rick Crawford in the pits, Jimmy Hensley as well. He had moved up to 20th from his starting position of 30th with a provisional. They had been fighting it all week, so the Milwaukee Tools Ford has done a very nice job of sorting some details out, and he's back out onto the racetrack. Now, in a couple of weeks, we're going to open up a new venue for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. First time ever, we're going to go to Chicago Motor Speedway for the Sears Craftsman 175. That'll be at 12:30 Eastern Time on Sunday, August 27th, round 20 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. For more, log on to ESPN.com. We'll be back over on ESPN for that broadcast. Hope you'll be able to join us, and thanks for joining us tonight. Bill Parsons joining us in the booth here, and so far tire wear has we saw one possibly go down on David Starr's incident with the wall, and the question starts begging for an answer at lap 44. When do these guys think about pitting?
I think ideally they'd like to go to about lap 80, Marty, but I think if you see him, we actually were eavesdropping on Greg Biffle's radio conversation during the break, and they talked about pitting. If anybody in front of them would have pitted, I think they were going to come in, but everyone stayed out that were in front of him, so he decided to stay out.
Biffle from Vancouver, Washington, originally 30 years old, started 23rd. He has moved his way up to 15, and we're back to green flag racing here at Nashville Speedway, USA. Sprague, your leader. Oh, and Jason Tom, the number 9, going very slow on the racetrack there. Bush on the outside of Rick Corelli. That is a battle for position. They're duking it out for 10th. Corelli's got some rubbing going on the right front corner.
May have been some contact with Kurt Busch there. That's what happened when Rick Corelli got hurt real bad at Memphis Motorsports Park a couple years ago. He had a rubbing right front tire, stayed on the racetrack, cut it, went all the way down, and hit the wall so hard.
And it is billowing smoke out of the right front. He's got to be aware of it. You're right, Phil. I mean, it was a huge crash. It took him a full remainder of the year. Here comes Terry Cook to go around. We're on board with Joe.
Clear low.
Rutman is following
Right back
as
in
well.
your rhythm now, buddy. Right back in your rhythm. Let's go get the
Corelli is
43.
staying out there, and you're seeing chunks of tire now.
Yeah, he's got to bring that truck in, Marty.
No black flag from Roy Selby at the NASCAR tower, and now he's fighting it.
Yeah, he'll be pitting this lap, I'm sure.
Everybody
Tough break. Rick Corelli had a good truck.
Corelli started 11th. This guy can't buy a break. He's only had 4 top 10s this year. It's been his worst season of racing ever by his own count. He says, I've never had this many DNFs. He is 16th in the points race, 1,100 markers behind. Dave, let's go to pit lane. What's going on in Corelli?
Marty, they think it is an oil leak. They're going to go right under the hood and see if they can detect where it is. But that was the report on the radio. They think it's an oil leak. They will take fuel and no tires as long as they're in here right now.
Boy, that's amazing, because it don't look like it was only doing it in the corner.
Yeah, it sure looked like a right front tire rubbing, but I didn't see a whole lot of damage when we got a close-up of the truck.
Well, that's why we have Dave and Amy down in pit lane, so that they can correct all of our misobservations. Take a look at the battle up front. Jack Sprague and Jamie McMurray, they're trying to make it a 2-truck race. There's the gap all the way back to 3rd, where it is Scott Riggs and Mike Wallace duking it out. Nashville Speedway, USA. During the early years in the 50s, this 1-mile track was shared between cars and harness racing sulkies. Stay with us. Of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Federated Auto Parts 250. I'm Marty Reed. Alongside is Phil Parsons. Down in pit lane, Dave Burns and Amy East. And you're looking at our race leader, Jack Sprague. He has won 3 times this year, and he has been, in the past, very strong at this racetrack. We've already talked about the fact that he won here back in 1997. But he's been strong on the short tracks all along. The Tennessee Titan in 2000, he has 2 wins. Top 5s of 4. His average finish 5th in the 5 short track races. Here at Nashville, we told you about the 1 win in 97. 3 top 5s. And look at that average finish. Identical to 5th. And he's the only racer who has won at every Tennessee track. Bristol and Memphis and here. Let's get an update from Amy East.
Well, right now, Jack Sprague is complaining of a slightly loose condition, but not loose enough to come down on that last caution flag and take on left side tires. Overall, he said that the truck is very comfortable, and he expected it to loosen up just as it has so far.
Let's go back further in the field. A couple of guys who started deep in this field. The 18 of Joe Rutman in the Dana Dodge started 20th. There's Biffle, who started 23rd. They're sort of working together here. They're up to 13th and 14th, Phil.
You know, we saw Joe Rutman pass Dennis Setzer, but now Dennis Setzer has got back by him, and now Greg Biffle was right on Joe Rutman's bumper.
And you can see on the move in the upper left, the guy who has really been coming on strong, Rick Crawford, started with a provisional in 30th. He's up to 18th. He's picked up 12 spots.
We've got to remember now, he has fresh right side tires. He came in on lap 42, fitted for right side tires, so that's how much tires are going to matter here.
Dave, you got an update on Greg Biffle?
Greg radioed in and he said he was running the truck as hard as he could on the last run. He's very, very loose. They're going to pull some tape off the grill, and they're going to put a rubber in the left rear. Greg said he'd feel safer if the truck was fixed that way.
Well, Greg's last short track win came at Richmond last year in September. It's a stop yet to come for us. There's the battle for 5th. Andy Houston and Mike Wallace. Andy in the Cat Rental Chevrolet.
Pretty I2.
On board with Mike Wallace, looking at Houston, and Andy has a chance to drive for Cal Wells next time out in the second Winston Cup car.
Clear.
He's also looking at a possible ride with Travis Carter, and has been mentioned as a possible replacement in Casey Atwood's Busch ride.
So I talked to some of the guys earlier, and I think it looks like Andy Houston's going to go toward the Winston Cup Series. I think that's what he wants to do. He's young enough. He's got enough experience here in the Truck Series, and I think he'll be good at it.
And there is, oh man, did you see how loose the 2 of Mike Wallace got as Randy Tolsma got around? And Busch is all over the back bumper. Wallace. And we're on board with Mike right now, and I guarantee you his eyes got real wide. Take a look. You can see a little contact there with Grissom and Bush, and he just got loose. Nobody got into it.
Just got loose. The thing, these trucks have around 750 horsepower, Marty. To try to get 750 horsepower hooked up to the ground coming off these corners is a pretty tall challenge.
Mike Wallace's career worst came here at Nashville in 1997. He finished 34th. He does not want to duplicate that. He can't afford to, being behind 193 points to points leader Greg Biffle. Setzer has moved up into this mix in the Mopar Dodge, the number 1. He is now trying to team up with the 43 of Steve Grissom. Maybe they can freight train on the low line.
Yeah, it's really hard on the low line because you need that whole racetrack to move up. Like Steve Grissom, he's got Mike Wallace cleared. He moves up towards the wall. That's the way to do it.
You can see bits of rubber coming off these tires. The speedway here repaved in 1996, but it just hasn't held up.
It really hasn't. Mike Wallace is struggling right now.
He is backing up. Here comes Brian Reffner in the Johns Manville Chevy, and he's got the inside line. Can't get the job done, though. Wallace has dropped back to 10th position. Could go back further. And what's going through Mike's mind? He's sitting there saying, man, this is my opportunity to pick up points. I'm not getting it done.
Yeah, he's in a situation now being over 190 points behind that he has to make something happen. He has to run to the front. He has to win races. He has to lead laps. He has to lead the most laps if he can. So this is not going according to plan.
And Mike's a little frustrated as we go on board with the Dana Dodge.
I think the 2's hurt and so is the 3, but I would follow Joe, I think.
That is the Granger team radio, and Biffle is right there.
I'll tell you one thing I've noticed listening to Greg Biffle. He talks a lot around the racetrack. He's almost like a play-by-play guy.
he does do a lot of communicating with both Max Jones's spotter and then also Randy Goss's crew chief. And Reffner has cleared 10th place and bumped Wallace back to 11th. And there's Joe Ruttman side by side. Meanwhile, up front, Jack Sprague's lead. Well, it's about 2.2 seconds. The last race here at Nashville Speedway, USA. The track was reconfigured in 1958 from 1 mile down to a half mile. Company gives the winner of the race a brand new guitar, and believe me, the guys talk about it every year. And this is the last time the NASCAR Touring Division is going to run here at Nashville. That is David Pearson and Tiny Lund. Bobby Allison, Fluky Buford, and the late Tony Bettenhausen raced here as well. There is Sterling Marlin, his first win, 1977. A guy by the name of Bobby Hamilton cut his teeth on this racetrack, and Marty Robbins, a great country singer and a not-so-bad stock car driver. Even Brooks and Dunn got into the mix as well. Another guy who cut his teeth here at Nashville, Casey Atwood, and Chad Chaffin, who's racing with us here tonight. Of course, the new Super Speedway, 1.33 miles. It's under construction, and that's where we'll be racing next year. And right now, Jack Sprague is your race leader, and we are under our 3rd caution of the evening here at Nashville Speedway, USA. There is the number 20. The two Gibbs brothers racing together here. That's J.D. Gibbs. Let's go back and see what happened.
A little bit of contact there from Rick Ware, and you right in front of the leaders again. Jack Sprague on the inside. He actually got in the back of Rick Ware, looked like, and there was a little bit of contact. J.D. turned around, but I don't think he hit anything.
But the 3rd caution is out, and so everybody's coming in, including our race leaders. Let's go to Amy.
Well, while most teams were going to be taking on left side tires, Jack Sprague decided he wanted some fresh right side tires. So Sprague will get 2 right side tires and no chassis adjustment.
And Sprague is back out already. Right side's also for Jamie McMurray. Dave Burns.
Right side's for Greg Biffle. 6 rounds down on the track bar. Huge adjustment. He had trouble getting into his pit. Mark Petty overshot just a little bit behind him. But Biffle is out of here and back on the track with a major adjustment. Remember, he was very, very loose on the track.
Jamie McMurray stalled the truck coming out of pit lane. While all this was going on, he has lost a ton of track position. And there is Jamie. The 24-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, qualified with a new track record of over 111 miles an hour. There's Mike Wallace's team, the Ultra Bad Boys. And I'll tell you right now, as they come across the stripe, let's go back and show you what happened to Jamie McMurray. Trouble with the right front. Remember, the tires have to be back over halfway. And then, looked like they couldn't get it refired. They kept pushing, pushing, and pushing.
Really hard to get a truck refired like that. I don't know why the thing stalled, because it looked like he didn't stall it taking off. It looked like the thing stalled on his jack.
Now, take a look at the log jam that is going to happen here at the pits. Look at Houston. Whoa, he squeezes Bush, and I missed that one, and there is damage to the right front of the X-Side Tractor Supply Ford.
He may get a tire rub out of that. He may have to come back in and work on that.
So on lap 82, there is Mike Wallace, and Wallace right now had a horrible pit stop. He is all the way back down. In fact, the clock has just moved him to 19th position. What happened to the Ultra Bad Boys, Amy East?
Well, the first time he came down pit lane, he took on right side tires and pulled a right rear rubber because he had a wicked loose condition that we've been following. But Timmy Cahoot wanted some tape off the grill, and that did not happen. Knowing how bad loose the truck was, they brought Mike back down pit lane and pulled off half of the tape that was covering his front grill.
So he is going to have a long way to go to get back into this here at Nashville Speedway, USA. This is far from over. Stay with us. Jack Sprague is your race leader. Randy Tolsma has moved into second. Smoke, heavy smoke. No contact with the wall. Can't tell which truck it came off of, Phil.
It looked like Jamie McMurray's truck. It almost looked like the same thing happened earlier. It looked like brake smoke, like he locked the brakes up getting in the turn.
Well, there is Randy Tolsma. Let's take a look at how everybody did going in and out of the pit. Sprague maintained station. Tolsma picked up 2 spots. Andy Houston jumps up 4. Riggs loses 1. Kurt Busch picked up 3. The really big loser, though, was Mike Wallace. He ends up going all the way back to 19th. He is now back up to 15th after that double pit stop. Dave, you've got more on Randy Tolsma?
They picked up 2 positions on that pit stop. It was a good one, Marty. Now, Randy's been battling braking problems on the track early in the race. He kept locking it up going into the corners, and he actually made 6 turns on the brake bias to try to put more rear brake in. I just checked with Gary Showalter, his chief. He says the braking problems have gone away. Randy says the next thing I want next time I come in is a clean windshield.
Rob Morgan gets very high, smoking up the right side again on the Axiom Ford, but he kept it off the wall, Phil.
Looked like the same thing happened to him earlier. Looked like he locked the brakes up.
Battle for 13th is hooking up now. Biffle's in there. Rick Crawford and Mike Wallace. That's 13th, 14th, and 15th. Randy McDonald in the 72. He is already a lap down. In fact, we only have 19 trucks on the lead lap, and we're not even to the halfway mark. On board with Rick Crawford. Started 30th and has fought his way to 14th.
I think Mike Wallace really has an ill-handling truck right now. He is not. He is actually going backwards right now.
You know, and Wallace is frustrated. He's second in the points. He has more top 10s than Greg Biffle, only 2 less top 5s. And he says, everybody comes up to me, fans and some of the members of the media, saying, what's wrong with your season, or you're just starting to get back on track. And he says, I'm having a great season.
He really is. They've done a great job with that Ultra Wheel truck. But as he mentioned, he's won a couple of races this year. He's got more top 10s than anybody on the circuit. So he's had a terrific year.
And he has 2 wins this year. And I asked him, I said, do you think it's because of the Wallace family name? And I'll put it to you. I mean, you come with a brother named Benny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's watching right now, but I don't know. I'm not sure. You know, Greg Biffle has won so many races, and now you've got both Roush trucks. You got Kurt Busch, who as a rookie has won a couple races, and I think the Roush trucks right now have overshadowed everybody else in the series because they've done such a great job.
There's Ricky Hendrick in the 17, and he right now is running in 17th position on the lead lap, and he is our one to watch. He has 2 top 10 finishes in 3 races, and we had our eye on him.
We finished well in the Busch car, and we finished well in the truck series too. So both are limited schedules, so it's going to kind of be a toss-up to see what the sponsors want to do and what my father wants to do to see which series we go full season in next year.
Well, Bill, he said to both of us, I mean, he really loves this truck. He likes the feel of it. Take a look at the results. 3 career starts at Pikes Peak, he started 11th, finished 6th. At Loudon, finished 7th. At IRP, finished 12th, but he was a lap down there as well. His average finish, 8.3. He's the real deal.
He really has done a great job. He's done a good job on the Busch car, too. So I think, Rick Hendrick has raised a terrific son right there.
Let's get more from Dave Burns.
This was not the truck he expected to race, Marty. He wrecked that last week at IRP. Finished the race, but wrecked it enough that Dennis Conner, Jack Sprague's crew chief, who fields all the trucks for Hendrick Motorsports, said, we're just going to take this other one that's in the shop, put 17 decals on it, and make it your Nashville truck. Jack Sprague's truck was already ready to go. They're very organized over there, and they simply shifted their resources and gave Ricky another great truck.
And right now he has moved up to 16th position, and he has got Greg Biffle in his gun sights, and Lance Norrick has gotten around Biffle as well, and Biffle's in trouble.
Looks like he was wiggling quite a bit. Ricky Hendrick, look at Lance Norrick is actually driving away from Greg Biffle with his 90 truck.
And Biffle high and is going to lose another spot. So our points leader is in trouble. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Carlos Contreras in the 75 of Marty Houston. Now there is the twin to Ricky Hendrick. That is the 24 of Jack Sprague. Now here as we go to our final race at Nashville, August 10th, 1958, the forerunner to today's Winston Cup race was held here. Joe Weatherly beat Fireball Roberts. Buck Baker, the purse, $8,300. Stay with us. Looking at our race leader, Jack Sprague, you can see the margin there, 1.2 seconds, has led every single lap, and he came in leading a total of 193 laps, so he is over 300 laps led here in his 5-year racing career at Nashville Speedway. He's not going to want to move over to that new track next year.
Boy, he is. And we looked at the results from the short tracks. He is a master of these short tracks.
Well, he's coming off a dismal 17th at Indianapolis Raceway Park because of the tire that went down late. There is Randy Tolsman. Now, the news on Randy, he's running second, but the word is next week he will announce, and he would neither confirm nor deny this, but we had two sources tell us that he will be joining Ed Renzi's team next year in what is supposed to be a 2-truck effort. The official announcement next week, or 2 weeks, I should say, at Chicago Motor Speedway.
Okay, you guys are coming up on a couple.
Now there's Andy Houston in third. We've already talked about the fact Andy is in line for either Cal Wells or Travis Carter's Winston Cup ride, and he's told the Cat Rental team he will not be back. Fourth is Jamie McMurray, and look at this. Jack Sprague is lapping Mike Wallace and Greg Biffle. The 2 points leaders are in trouble. Whoa.
Looked like Greg Biffle bounced off the wall coming off turn 4 there.
A bit of a scrape for the Granger Ford, and now Wallace gets around Biffle. That is for position. The two of them are now a lap down. They are running 17th and 18th to the race leader, the GMAC Chevrolet of Jack Sprague. And the kind of season Sprague's had, he's 5th in the points, the lowest he's ever been at this point in the season. And he's got to be loving this moment, putting those two a lap down.
Well, you know, Mike Wallace, half of what he really wanted to happen is happening. Greg Biffle just got lapped. The only problem is these 3 truck lengths in front of him, he's got lapped too.
So unfortunately, Mike Wallace not able to take advantage of the situation that was presented. And meanwhile, the 24 sets sail and says, see ya, boys. He just got around Mark Petty, put Mark a lap down. Mark was 16th. Now there is Jamie McMurray, our pole sitter, and of course Jamie has been setting the world on fire in this Ferris Concrete Dodge since taking over just a couple of races ago. Started on the pole, his second pole in 3 races.
You know, I was watching Jamie McMurray right there, Marty. I do not see any brake heat from the rotors. Jack Sprague's truck, on the other hand, now I see the left front rotor glowing red. So Jamie McMurray is taking care of his brakes.
Let's go back to Dennis Setzer, who is in 5th position, right behind Jamie McMurray. Now Setzer coming off a 7th place run at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and the reason he's currently 8th in the points, he has 4 DNFs this year, and last year he finished 3rd in the championship chase. And Dave, you got more on the Mopar Dodge?
They were very optimistic coming into this race this year, Marty. Of course, they won here last year, but they had a great truck all race long. In fact, when he practiced this weekend, he did not pick up his practice times very much in qualifying, but that was okay because they knew they had a good race setup. They came in with the others on lap 81, changed right side tires, and made a slight air pressure adjustment. He was just a tick tight.
Back to the 43 of Steve Grissom. He is in 6th position. And right now, there are 5 Dodges in the top 7. And Grissom, who's going to be taking over Kyle Petty's Winston Cup ride. Whoa, he hacksawed the wheel there. Started 14th. He's up to 6th. He's going to take that ride over at Darlington, and he's looking forward to it, but it will not keep him from racing the remaining schedule of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
I was talking to Steve earlier, or actually was talking to his wife this morning, and I said, you're getting ready to get real busy here starting Labor Day weekend.
There is Brian Refner. He is currently running in the 7th position. His best this year in that John Manville Chevy has been 5th at both Texas and Kentucky. He's still looking for that first career victory, the former Rookie of the Year. Now, there is Chad Chaffin. Now, he has taken over a truck that was formerly driven by Scott Riggs, and this is a one-off for Chad. Of course, he's from Smyrna, Tennessee, qualified 8th, and that's a 97 Roush truck, and he's given it a pretty doggone good ride.
Yeah, you know, we talk on the golf course about local knowledge. He has a lot of local knowledge of this racetrack.
He just took over the position from Refner, so moved Chaffin up to 7th. Now, there is Scott Riggs and Joe Rutman. They're duking it out for 9th and 10th. Rutman, and boy, has he got those brake rotors glowing. On board with Scott Riggs. Have you ever worn out your brakes? I mean, you've run here at Nashville.
We have not with the Busch car, but again, we don't have as much weight, we don't have as much horsepower, we don't go down the straightaway as fast, so I think the trucks will use more brake than a Busch car will.
Scott Riggs currently running in 10th position. Let's get an update from Amy.
Well, this is the first time that this truck has seen an oval. This is their road course truck, and they were not sure when this truck was due under race trim. Right now, they are complaining of a slightly tight condition. Now, remembering that one of the 2 trucks on that last caution that took left side tires was Terry Cook and Scott Riggs. So that, of course, is going to make that truck very tight. Not complaining of any brake wear at this moment, but they're learning a lot about this truck as they go. And so far, pleased with being in the top 10.
His career best, a 6th back at Loudon, and his last time out, he finished 15th at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Let's go back up front. There is our race leader. We've just passed the halfway mark, and your leader of every single lap has been that man, Jack Sprague. Nashville Speedway USA, well, in the history track here, Darrell Waltrip won 2 track championships at Nashville in the 70s. Bobby Hamilton and Sterling Marlin won titles in the 80s. Auto Parts 250. If you're just joining us here at Nashville Speedway USA, Jack Sprague, the number 24 GMAC Chevrolet, is your race leader. And this is the final NASCAR touring event for this famed historic track, and Sprague's trying to dominate it. He's led every single lap so far here. We've completed 134, and he celebrated a birthday just 4 days ago. Jack turned 36 years of age. And while we're on the birthday notes, a special birthday to one of our most dedicated fans, Suzanne Fredrickson. I will not say how old she is. I'd say 29, and I'll be thanked forever. She is the mother of our producer, Joe Fredrickson, watches every single race and tells us whether or not we're doing the job right. And Suzanne, happy birthday.
Well, Jack Sprague's doing the job right anyway.
Boy, I'll tell you what, he's going to celebrate this birthday in style right now. His lead is 1 second over the 25 of Randy Tolsma, and he's on the back bumper of Terry Cook, and Cook is in 12th position right now, so that shows you how much in control Sprague is. He's trying to put the 90, who is 13th place, of Lance Norrick, a lap down as well. So we only have 13 trucks on the lead lap. It could get a little dicey here.
Really, it looks like they're almost going 3 wide there.
Well, we've passed the halfway point. Let's do our Dodge race recap. And Jack Sprague's led every single lap, but there has been a lot of action behind him. We've had 3 cautions for 17 laps. Average speed at 87.5 miles an hour. And that would set a new record. Out of the race, Bobby Dotter, Morgan Shepherd, David Starr, and Tony Roper.
Randy Tolsma in second has been able to stay pretty close to Jack Sprague, but they have about a 6-second lead on the 3rd place truck of Dennis Setchard, who has now moved into 3rd position.
Boy, and look at Lance Norrick getting around. Remember that one, put it away. And that's the radiate radio of Terry Cook. So Norrick takes the position, and Sprague has not been able to clear those 2.
You see Randy Tolsma in the black and red Dodge truck has moved right up on Sprague's bumper because of this traffic.
There you see him, the Citgo SuperGuard number 25. Now Sprague has cleared the 88 of Terry Cook, so Terry's now in 13th position, 1 lap down. guys are starting to get lower on the racetrack. They've gone down to that low line.
You know, we talk about why they moved up the racetrack. Well, Greg Biffle in the 50 truck can be lapped for the second time.
Boy, this is hard to believe. Greg Biffle, 2 laps down in 18th position. Mike Wallace, unfortunately, is in 17th position, 1 lap down. He can't seem to take advantage of this opening that has been presented here with 109 laps to go. So the points differential is not going to change all that much between those two, although the guys behind him are going to pick up some ground if it holds station.
So right now, if the race ended, Mike Wallace would gain 3 points on Greg Biffle.
Take a look. Lance Norrick doing everything he can to stay on the lead lap. He's currently running in the 12th position, and Norrick's trying to take 11th away from Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch is one of the 3 trucks that I counted that took left side tires on that pit stop at lap 82. So I think he's hung in there pretty well with left side tires, because the right side tires are definitely more critical here.
Norrick gets around him, takes over the position. His best finish this year has been 7th. That was at Milwaukee. In fact, that's been his career best. He's still hanging on. Busch is now a lap down to the race leader, Jack Sprague, and Sprague going underneath and finally putting Lance Norrick a lap down as well. So we only have 10 trucks on the lead lap here, the Federated Auto Parts 250. Stay with us.
A full load of fuel from gas man Steve Hill.
Sprague having problems, and they also take left side tires and now can't get the truck refired. And there was a report that he might be having cylinder problems, that he may have dropped the cylinder, and the GMAC Financial Services Chevrolet is in serious trouble, and the crowd on its feet.
Yes. Well, you guys, it looks like almost the entire team now is running down to try to help out Jack Sprague. The original plan was to come down and get left side tires and full of fuel, but Jack had radioed just prior to that he thought that he was dropping a cylinder. They decided not to go under the hood to try to designate which cylinder that was. Instead, they were just going for a routine stop, which turned out to be disastrous.
And now he's being held by Danny Riggs. They're saying, guys, you have to push him back behind that line to get him started. He's going to lose a lap. Tolsma is going by right now.
Incredible tough break for Jack Sprague. In a very dangerous situation right there.
Well, I'll tell you, look out. All the guys coming out.
See the lap down guys coming out, lap down or more guys coming out of the pits there.
Sprague has won at St. Louis, Memphis, Evergreen. He was dominant here tonight, led every single lap until just now, and it looks like they can't get that truck to fire no matter how hard they push.
Looks like they're spraying ether in the left front of the thing. That goes right into the air cleaner, trying to get it started.
Now let's go back and show you why we're under caution here. Take a look at J.D. Gibbs.
Looks like he cut a right front tire down coming off of turn 2 and made some pretty substantial contact with the wall.
So J.D. is the reason we are under our 4th caution. And take one more look at it. Look for the sparks. There he goes. You're right, Phil.
Well, he was able to get it slowed down quite a bit before he hit the wall, so it wasn't quite as bad as I originally thought.
And you can see the damage on the right side of the MB&A Chevrolet. And these guys are just working up a huge sweat inside those fire suits. And you do this about 3 times. I've watched them at the Rolex 24 and everywhere else, and they're exhausted because it's just so hard. And now they're putting it behind the wall.
Tough break.
The hood is coming up, and Jack Sprague, who led every single lap until lap 148, is now behind the wall, and the lights are out on the pace truck. Now, if we don't get a chance, we could have a problem as far as time tonight, because we have live soccer coming up next. So if that were to happen, well, you will see the interview on RPM today, 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on ESPN2. But then also RPM tonight, tomorrow night at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. That's all tomorrow. For more, log on to ESPN.com. We're going to take another commercial break. The lights come back on the pace truck. Stay with us. The leader now is Randy Tolsma, looking for his first win of 2000. Parsons up here in the booth. I'm Marty Reed. You're looking at our new race leader, Randy Tolsma, in the Citgo Superguard Dodge.
Right side
As he is taken over here at the Federated Auto Parts 250 after Jack Sprague goes behind the wall with a dropped cylinder and could not refire the truck. They are still working on it in the pit area.
You know, Randy Tolsma is great on this type of racetrack. A slick racetrack that you have to conserve the tires. You know, he had the race out of Monroe, Washington, won until they had a green-white checker finish. Jack Sprague, who had pressure tires in him, was able to beat him, but and Randy still finished second in that race.
Well, let's get an update on the Jack Sprague situation, Amy East.
Well, it's far more terminal than just a drop cylinder. They tried everything just to get the motor to turn over. They tried by hand to turn it, and it's just totally locked up. Jack Sprague, obviously very dejected, got out of the truck, threw his helmet, was just frustrated. If anybody has had a black cloud hanging over his head these last few races, it has been Jack Sprague. Dave Burns?
Maybe as far as Steve Grissom is concerned, he has an ace in the hole here at Nashville this weekend. Here's an old name from the history of Nashville Speedway and NASCAR overall, Ray Stonkus. Now, Ray has been around since the days of Pete Hamilton and those early Chrysler days in the 70s. He's here tonight overseeing the operations that the Petty boys are doing. He says they know what to do. They just need somebody to bounce ideas off of. And apparently they do know what they're doing. And Ray says they're doing a great job.
Well, Steve's doing a fine job. He's got Andy Houston all over him for the battle for second. His career best here in the series. He's finished fourth 3 times at Mesa Marin, Milwaukee, and Nazareth. Let's move back to the battle for 8th. That's Scott Riggs, Brian Reffner in 9th. And those are the last 2 on the lead lap.
Yeah, Chad Chapman is right in front of Scott Riggs in 7th position.
So Riggs, who has finished 9th 4 times, but also has a 6th at Loudon. He has a total of 6 top 10s. He's trying to get around Chapman, and that is a battle for position. And that's a little deja vu for Scott Riggs. That used to be his old truck that he used to drive.
That's right. He said this race, Scott Riggs said this racetrack is a lot like the racetrack that he grew up on, Orange County, in near Durham, North Carolina.
29-year-old qualified 3rd on the RC Cola Dodge, and he is underneath him, and right in front of both Chapman and Riggs is the 41 of Jamie McMurray. He is on another good run in 6th, won the pole, and it doesn't look like he's got a scratch on the Ferris Concrete Dodge. Well, he does now.
He's got a bump in the front and a bump from behind, so now he has a couple scratches.
He was letting Marty Houston in the Spear Chevrolet know, hey, Marty, you're a lap down. Get out of my way. Whoa, and Houston returns the favor and says, whoa, now he's into him and into the wall.
See, that was really uncalled for by Marty Houston. I mean, he was 2 laps down. Look at the mess he's caused now, but he's 2 laps down. He has really no business holding up a lead lap truck, and he retaliates because he got a little bit of a bump, and this is what it caused.
B.A. Wilson in the 73, the 72 of Randy McDonald, the 44 of Mark Petty, and only his 2nd career start in the series, and Jamie McMurray.
Here, we'll just see what's wrong with it, see if we can get him back out and run some laps, okay? It won't start.
But you couldn't get it back even if it could start. There's Jimmy Hensley also involved in this. Hensley, of course, a former winner in this event. He won it back in 1998, started 30th that year. Well, you know, Jamie McMurray was in one incident at Indianapolis Raceway Park. You can see Mark Petty getting out. In fact, what we were talking about, let's go back and show you what happened. He made a kamikaze move down into the turn, went 4 wheels below the line, hit Englebright, and that ended up spinning Randy Tolsma. He didn't even know that he had spun Tolsma until well after the race when he saw the video. And he knows that Randy Tolsma didn't appreciate it. They've talked about it. And now here is what happens here. He goes in. He had just biffed the Marty Houston Spear Chevrolet a little bit, and then here comes Houston back.
Yeah, you know, Marty was just retaliating because he got bumped, and then, you know, if he'd let him go right then, he'd have been fine, but he went up and hit him again, got him sideways. Jamie overcorrected and went around to the right side. And not only does Marty Houston take out Jamie and a bunch of other trucks, he's going to end up taking himself out, or at least out of contention anyway.
And you can see a gaggle gets into this mess. Let's give you another look at it.
Yeah, you just wouldn't let him go. Just got into the back and wouldn't let him go. And put him in the outside wall here. You see Marty, now he has nowhere to go. You have trucks, you have all kinds of trucks coming, nowhere for them to go. Somebody tags Jamie in the back, trucks hit the wall on the outside. Randy McDonald's in the middle of the racetrack. He gets hit.
Did you notice the one truck that did sneak through, the 50 of Greg Biffle? If he had gotten tied up in this mess, there is Jamie McMurray out of the truck and dejected.
Yeah, that's Randy McDonald.
No, that's Randy McDonald. I'm sorry. Both of them are blonde. There is Jamie. He is out low. He's moving that right leg a little bit, but he looks to be okay. Jack Sprague, we've talked about his problems so far. He and Amy East has caught up with him.
Well, our defending champion is having a season I know that you would like to forget. Jack, how soon did you know you were having motor problems? I'd heard you had radioed in just prior. You thought you had dropped the cylinder.
It actually dropped the cylinder right there. Lap before the caution came out. Hated for the guys. The GMAC Chevrolet was obviously pretty dominant. It's best truck I've ever had here, and I thought maybe our luck was going to turn around, but instead it got worse. So we'll go to Chicago and see if we can win there.
All right, hang in there, Jack.
Give you an idea how tough this season has been for Jack Sprague. Coming into this year, he had 3 career DNFs. This is his 4th of 2000.
It's hard to win championships with that many DNFs, and obviously Jack's out of the running for the championship, but he'll be back. He's a strong competitor. He's a threat to win each and every race he's in.
He dominated the first half of this one, that is for sure. Right now, Randy Tolsma is your race leader. Steve Grissom is second. Andy Houston, Dennis Setzer, and Joe Ruttman round out the top 5. And for Randy Tolsma, he's looking for career win number 1 of the 2000 campaign. The emotional side of this venue and this event, take a look at Jack Sprague's team as they tried and tried and tried, but could not get him back out onto the track. On in the West and in the South. Fresh off a victory in the Midwest, now they head home to Music City. Hamilton is Nashville home. Crew chief Fred Wanke has steered his driver to the winner's circle here in the past. And now Joe Ruttman hopes to score back-to-back short track triumphs and close Nashville's NASCAR legacy in winning style. And he may get a chance. Joe Ruttman running in 5th position, and this race has been red flagged because of the fact of the 7-car pileup. We have at least 5 that are out of this race. It's going to be a long time getting this cleaned up. Dave, you're with Fred Wanke, crew chief for Joe Ruttman.
That's right. They've had quite a struggle this weekend, Marty. Fred, I mean, how far have you guys come from when this thing started practice on Friday?
Well, I'll tell you, it was, like last week, the thing was just perfect. This week, it's been everything but perfect. The guys has worked hard. We've built A-frames. We've moved shocks. We've changed everything. And I tell you, it's just the Dana Dodge crew. You just can't beat them. They work hard. They don't give up. Joe's doing a good job. We need another stop or two to make some more adjustments. But it's all about the crew. I mean, they just have not give up and worked hard. And we're going to still try to win.
Well, now, Tolsma has the option. He can come in, and probably you guys will play follow the leader if he comes in after this red flag.
Yeah, we've been discussing that. We're going to have to follow leader. If they come get tires, we're going to have to come get them. If they stay out and it goes green, we'll finish the race on these tires just like they will. And, if we come now and get tires and there's another caution, they get tires, we're beat. So it's whoever's got the freshest tires is going to win the race.
A lot of strategy here. He studied under the guy I mentioned earlier, Ray Stonkus. He was one of his students. Now let's go to Amy East.
Well, Jamie McMurray had high hopes of winning your first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series win here at Nashville, but tell me what happened back there with Marty Houston.
Just a lap traffic, it's tied, it's a short track, and just kind of the way it is. I've been a lap car before, and I've had the same thing happen, so I got into him a little bit down here in 4. It's tight out there, and you're just trying to get all you can, and I'm trying to catch the guys in front of me. We had a great truck, and the starter went out on the first pit stop, and we got behind a little bit, and then I used the tires up quite a bit trying to be on the bottom, so we had a good truck, and I'm happy. I got to thank Dodge and TKO Motorsports, and Todd Myers, he did a great job on the truck because we were horrible in happy hour, and we changed every shock, spring, panel bar, just like Indy, and he got it hooked up, and we had a great truck, and we'll be there next weekend.
Before the race, you told me the key to this place you thought was going to be patience. Did you feel like you were being patient out there or a little more aggressive?
No, I was really trying hard. The lap trucks, they were just so thick. And when you get back to 6th or 7th, they all move up, and they're trying to race too, and that's just the way it goes. And, we'll be there next week and just give it what we can, and maybe we'll get our first win, be the first winner in Chicago.
Well, for as ugly as the right side of this 41 Dodge looks, Jamie McMurray seems very optimistic that he's found himself very comfortable here with Todd Myers and the entire Ferris Concrete Creek crew.
Well, we can tell you as you look at the crowd, we've refired the trucks, and they are coming down pit lane. Randy Tolsma is leading the way, so let's go to Dave Burns.
The leader's in. The guys go to the right side. They're going to just put enough fuel in to get him by. They're done with that. Right side tires for him. Steve Grissom will also take right side tires, and no adjustments on the 43.
So Grissom takes right side tires as well. The Dana Dodge also going back out. There he is, along with, and Andy Houston sneaks ahead of Joe Ruttman and the number 1 of Dennis Setzer. Now, the 5 trucks that were knocked out of this race in this last crash: Jimmy Hensley, Jamie McMurray, Mark Petty, Randy McDonald, and B.A. Wilson. So those 5 behind the wall right now. And that means we have 10 trucks that are either out of this race or off trying to make repairs. We're here at Nashville for the final Touring Series race for NASCAR. Stay with us. It's far from over. Our 5th caution of the race, the Federated Auto Parts 250. We have a total of 8 trucks on the lead lap. 5 of them are Dodges. You talk about some strong running right now. After 18 races last time, trucks in the top 10, 2. This year, 4 of them are in the points race. And the race is won same at the same point, but 4 more poles, but 2 more wins from the pole. But they've never won back-to-back races. But right now, they have 5 of the top 7 positions. I think it might be safe to say it's an odds-on bet. Dodge could win this race.
They very much could win this race. You know, we talked about some birthdays earlier, Marty. Congratulations, Grandpa.
Oh, well, thank you. Amanda and Nathan. Amanda gave birth to an 8-pound, 8-ounce baby girl, Mackenzie Ray. And yes, I am a grandpa at age 27. How did I do that?
It's a miracle.
Baby and mother are doing fine. Dad's a nervous wreck, and so's Grampy. Fans on their feet. It's a near capacity crowd here for the final touring race at Nashville Speedway, USA. And we are back to green.
Terry Cook's on the tail end of the lead lap. He's staying out there to try to get his lap back.
Terry in 9th position right now, and he is going to try and hold off Randy Tolsma, but I don't know how he's going to be able to do it on those old tires.
He's hoping for a real quick caution because, you know, restarts do breed caution flags, so I think it's a good strategy.
On board with the Dana Dodge of Joe Ruttman. Ruttman right now in 3rd position after the pit stops. It is Tolsma, Andy Houston, Joe Ruttman, 1, 2, 3. 4th place is Dennis Setzer, and 5th is the 43 of Steve Grissom. Here comes Tolsma. He's underneath Cook, trying to put him back a lap down. Setzer and Grissom going after each other. That's for position. There are the Dodges. Look at the positions. 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7, all on the lead lap. 73 laps to go here. And now Terry Cook is now a lead lap down. That means we have only 8 trucks on the lead circuit. The last one being Chad Chaffin in number 84.
Hey, Steve Grissom has had a great truck all night.
Don't count him out. There is Greg Biffle. Now, he is 2 laps down in 15th position. Barely escaped that 5-truck crash just a few laps ago. Take a look at the points. Mike Wallace has been unable to capitalize, though. Mike is in 12th position, only 2 positions ahead, 184 markers. Andy Houston would move back into 3rd. Kurt Busch would drop to 4th. Jack Sprague loses more ground in 5th. There's Rick Crawford. He had a great race going. He's now in 11th position. So that is a battle on the racetrack. In that mix, you're on board with Scott Riggs. He's got to be careful. He's running 7th in all that lap traffic. And with Crawford a little loose there.
I think Scott Riggs has made somewhat of a gamble. He took left sides on that pit stop where all the rest of the lead lap trucks took right sides. So he's hoping that maybe we can go another 20, 30 laps. He can get fresh right sides, and he'll have the freshest right side tires on the racetrack at the end of the race.
Let's go to the battle for second. Andy Houston and Joe Ruttman trying to beat it out of each other. Houston's got it. Ruttman wants it, but the Cat Reynolds Chevrolet's going to hold on to it for right now. Back on board with Joe Ruttman.
They're both in have stayed pretty close to Randy Tolsma, though. So we have the makings of a great race. And there's Steve Grissom in the red truck moving in there on fourth.
Rutman, 5th on the all-time career win list in the series with 10. Of course, Hornaday is the all-time leader with 25. Jack Sprague has 19. With 66 laps to go here, I'm Marty Reed along with Phil Parsons, Dave Burns, and Amy East. If you're just tuning in, this is round 19 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. You're on board with 3rd place Joe Rutman. He's tracking down 2nd place Andy Houston. The leader of the race is Randy Tolsma in the Citgo Superguard Dodge, and there you see all 3 of them.
We saw that in-truck camera shot from Joe Rutman's truck, and Andy Houston doesn't want to get that thing sideways coming off the corner very many more times. Yeah,
he got the tail happy a little too much there coming out of turn 2. And they're in the mix also, the 43 of Steve Grissom. So Dodge's running 1st, 3rd, and 4th. You know this last race here? Well, back in 1973, the track was reconfigured into today's 18-degree banking. Before that, believe it or not, the turns were 35 degrees, and they flew around here. NASCAR 2000 concern, and it's all tomorrow with Winston Cup coverage starting on ESPN2 with NASCAR Today at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then at 12:30 on ESPN, it's the Global Crossing at the Glen. Qualifying washed out. They'll start on points. Bobby Labonte gets the pole. For more, log on to ESPN.com, where you'll find out everything you need to know about racing. On board there with Rick Crawford. He is running in 13th, 1 lap down. Milwaukee Tools Ford. Meanwhile, up front, the Citgo Superguard Dodge of Randy Tolsma. He's got it on a rail, Phil.
You know, I was talking to Kurt Busch this morning, Marty, and I asked him which racetrack this more closely resembled to the ones he grew up on. He said Bakersfield, California. If I'm not mistaken, Randy Tolsma won his Craftsman Truck Series race at Bakersfield, California a couple years ago, right?
He did in 1997. It's been a long time since. He came so close at Evergreen earlier this year, and again at Milwaukee where he finished 2nd. He also has 2 third-place finishes at St. Louis and Loudon. But, boy, he is trying to break through. And early in the season, this team had such horrible luck. It was incredible. That's Randy's wife, Tiffany Tolsma. She's scoring for the team on the War Wagon. Let's get an update from Dave Burns.
Randy just radioed in. He said, I feel good. The truck is just cruising right now. But, Marty, what about this? Could this be the same scenario that they had to go through at Monroe? They put on 2 sets of right and a set of left. They have 1 set of left side tires remaining. If they get a late race caution here, Gary Showalter is going to probably have to make that same gut-wrenching decision.
Yeah, he decided not, or did come in and pitted and gave up the track position and then could not get it back. Meanwhile, look at that battle going on. That is Steve Grissom taking a position away from Joe Rutman. So Grissom up to 3rd, Rutman back to 4th.
Just drove by him on the outside. Steve Grissom has really impressed me today with a real fine run.
Well, this would definitely be a career best finish for Grissom in the Dodge by Petty. Prior, he finished 4th 3 times. His worst was back at Evergreen when he came in home in 26th position. Qualified 14th tonight. Whoop, got a little tail happy there coming out of turn 4.
I don't think he's done yet, Marty. I think he'll run up and give Andy Houston a run for his money.
The thing that amazes me about this track is how quickly you dive into the corners. You go from 3 degrees of banking into the 18 degrees. Then it drops off again back to 3 degrees. What's it like for the driver?
The transitions here are really sharp. That's why you see a lot of guys get loose up off the corner because the bank goes away, as you mentioned.
And the 20 of J.D. Gibbs has brushed the wall again, and we have another caution. That will be our 6th caution of the evening. And J.D.'s got problems with the right front.
Now what are they going to do, Marty? Are they going to come in and put left sides on? We know Scott Riggs is going to come in and put right sides on. So if the other guys don't come in, Scott Riggs will have the freshest tires on the racetrack.
48 laps remaining. We have 8 trucks on the lead lap. And J.D. is on the backstretch trying to nurse it on home. The first time in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series history that we've had 2 brother combinations racing. J.D. and Coy Gibbs in the race tonight, as well as Marty and Andy Houston. And right now, Andy's got the best run going of everybody. He's in 2nd place, right behind race leader Randy Tolsma.
I saw Joe Gibbs just before the race started, and I said, Coach, you have 2 sons in this race, and he just shook his head.
Double the bills.
Now, my parents know how that is, because Benny and I raced together a number of times, or probably over 100 times, so my parents know how it feels anyway.
Well, he pulls the MB&A Chevrolet into the pit, and it looks like the guys are going to say, we might as well just put that one behind the wall and work on it back there. Let's go to Dave Burns. We have pit stops.
Steve Grissom will take the gamble. They will put on left side tires, as will Joe Ruttman. Left side tires on the Dana Dodge. They're going to gamble that this can take them through the field and back up to the front to challenge Tolsma. Dennis Setzer also on pit road, guys.
Setzer. And also Brian Reffner, who was also on the lead lap, running in 6th position. This one's got me a little bit baffled, Phil, because we don't have the 10-lap rule in effect. They got a lot of traffic they're going to have to fight.
Well, they really do. Scott Riggs did not pit. Now, that I really don't understand that, because he has right side tires there that he can put on, but he stayed out.
Wow. So there is Scott Riggs, and he is currently motoring right in front of Ricky Hendrick. Hendrick is a lap down, currently in 11th. Stay with us. Goes into the Windy City. The new Chicago Speedway 1-mile oval present a lot of unique challenges for rookies as well as most of those experienced veterans. The goal remains the same. That's blow away the competition and take home the hardware. Tough trucks have shown on the 1-miler this year that will be no easy task. That's going to be in 2 weeks. The Sears Craftsman 175, 12:30 Eastern Time, Sunday, August 27th. For more, log on to ESPN.com. And you heard the call. We're back to Green Flag Racing here at Nashville Speedway, USA. Randy Tolsma, Andy Houston, and 3rd place Scott Riggs stayed out. The last time they pitted was lap 170. We're on lap 207 right now, and the other 5 trucks on the lead lap came in and took fresh tires, and we're on board with Scott Riggs. Amy, let's get an update on the 86.
Just touched base with his crew chief, Charlie Long, and I said, why would you have not stopped with everybody else? He said, Amy, we're rolling the dice. We're going for it. We feel as though if there is another caution, and man, we sure need one, we want to stay out there as long as possible on these brakes and have the freshest for the run at the end.
Well, but you see the 43, Steve Grissom. He is tucked under the 86, taking the position away.
Marty, he knows that he's going to be no match for these guys with new tires.
And Riggs just brushed the wall. He just rubbed the wall coming out of turn number 2. And here comes Joe Ruttman. That will be for position as well.
He knows he's going to give up these positions because he just cannot compete with these guys with fresh tires. But as he said, they're going to roll the dice. If they get a caution in the next 10 or 20 laps, then he'll have the freshest tires on the racetrack.
On board with Mike Wallace in 11th place, 1 lap down. That is Dennis Setzer going by. Setzer in 6th right now, trying to track down Riggs and Ruttman. And he's got lap traffic in front of him there. That's the 48 of Coy Gibbs, JD's brother. Let's go back and show you what happened to the 86 right there, and it looked like he rubbed again.
Looked like he hit it again. He's on the outside here. He does not have the grip that he needs. Gets just too high coming off the corner and brushes the wall.
So the RC Cola Dodge trying to hang on for whatever he can, hoping that another caution comes out, but if he isn't careful, he'll be the caution. Look at the battle between the 43 of Steve Grissom and the 60 of Andy Houston. Now remember, Grissom has fresh tires, but look, there's a tire rub.
He's made contact with somebody. He's got a tire rub.
Be patient with it, buddy. He's got the right front on his tire there. Rubbing pretty bad.
So Grissom takes the position from Andy Houston, but he has got problems.
Not only is the tire rubbing, but he's got part of the fender rubbing on the racetrack in the turn.
I'd like to try and figure out where and when did that happen. That's just in the last few laps.
Yeah, it had to be after the restart sometime.
Oh, but be smooth now. He'll take care of himself. We got 35 to go.
Well, you just heard how many laps we have remaining here. He is still motoring around, but boy, it presents a precarious call for Fred Wanke, the crew chief and the spotter. Look at the sparks. Dave, what's going on with the Dodge Pipette?
Well, I checked with Travis Owens in Steve Grissom's pit, and they thought it was the 60 smoking, so apparently it was contact with the 60. But as you guys pointed out, the 43 does appear to be smoking.
And let me correct myself. Fred Wanke used to be with the 43. He's over with the Dana Dodge, so my bad there. But still, the decision by the guys is, what do you do right now with your driver hanging on. He's got a great position right now in second. He's 1.7 seconds behind the race leader, but how long can that tire hold up?
I hope for Steve's sake it holds up to the end of the race, because I would hate to see something happen, because that's the worst thing can happen to you is you cut down a right front tire.
The 99 of Kurt Busch is in 9th position. He is 1 lap down. Look at the battle behind. There goes the number 1, the Mopar Dodge, as well as Joe Ruttman, and the 60 of Andy Houston, who did not pit. He's getting eaten alive.
There's just no match for those guys with fresher tires.
And here comes Setzer looking underneath Ruttman. Remember, these guys were leaning on each other earlier in the race.
And they have equal tires. They both stopped on that last caution flag and put tires down. So it's a good battle. Dennis goes ahead and gets by Joe Ruttman and takes over the position.
We want to talk about a little domination tonight. Take a look at the first 4 positions. All of them Dodges. These guys are dialed. Houston's losing touch. Dropped back about 2-3 truck lengths from Joe Ruttman, and it's getting worse, not better.
You know, Ray Evernham has to be sitting home right now and saying, you know, we're looking pretty good for next year. Here we got 4 Dodges in the truck series running 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, Tim Farm, 18 to 1. The next thing behind it should be the 84 for on lead lap.
That's Andy Houston's radio, and they're telling him that the next guy behind you is Chaffin. And that tells you when your truck's in trouble, when you're worried about the guy coming up behind you.
Yeah, exactly right. He knows that everybody on the racetrack, besides Scott Riggs, that is behind him, had fresher tires than him.
My question is, why hasn't this happened to Randy Tolzman then? Tolzman stayed out.
I think Randy has just that good a truck. Steve Grissom has been able to get by Kurt Busch, who was a lap down that was in between him, but he doesn't seem to be gaining. On Randy Tolzman.
The margin is 2.05 seconds between first and second. You're looking at Andy Houston. He's got Chad Chaffin all over him. That is for 5th on the racetrack. Houston is the first Chevrolet, and Chaffin is the first Ford.
I don't think Andy Houston's going to be any match for Chad Chaffin for the same reason. Chad Chaffin has fresher tires.
Anybody a match for the Super Guard Dodge? We'll find out. We're closing Nashville this week. Jeffrey Bodine beat Darrell Waltrip in the final Winston Cup race here in July 14th of 1984. Guess who finished 13th? Bill Parsons. 250. Randy Tolzman, the Citgo Super Guard Dodge, looking for his first win of 2000 and his second since 1997 when he won back at Mesa Marin. The biggest thing, we're watching lap times here. He just ran a lap at 20.5 seconds. He is on old tires. He's quicker than those guys that came in, Phil, and changed 2 tires after the last caution.
That's how good a truck Randy has right now. You know, he was able to stretch his lead a little bit before the last caution came out, and so he's just maintained that.
Well, he could become the 5th different winner here at Nashville in the final NASCAR touring race at this venerable old facility that ran its first auto race back in 1904. Resendiz, Sprague, Hensley, Setzer, and maybe Randy Tolzman will be adding his name to that list. Let's get an update from Dave Burns.
Marty, I confirm with crew chief Gary Showalter that they definitely set the 25 truck up for long runs. Now, when Randy started this green flag run, it wasn't all that good, but he said, I'm not worried. And then he radioed in a bit later, the truck is definitely coming to me. So it's, you know, by plan. They haven't had any trouble out there, and the truck is simply coming in on this long run. That's why he's so much better and can stay ahead of the 43 and the 1 truck.
Well, his lead is 3.5 seconds, and this is the best battle on the racetrack right now. Steve Grissom in second, and Setzer breathing down his bumper.
Good. You notice the smoke is really dissipated with Steve Grissom.
I'm amazed he did not cut that right front tire. Look at them. He's on the outside, able to hold off Setzer's charge. We have a total of 8 trucks on the lead lap right now. This is the battle for second. Let's go at the line, show you who the quickest is.
That's a little bit deceiving because the 43 and the 1 were really side by side on that lap, but it does show that Randy Tolzman has the fastest truck on the racetrack.
Even with the oldest tires of all the lead truck laps, and there is the 84 Chad Chaffin and the 18 of Joe Ruttman. That is a battle for 4th. Chaffin has just gotten around to take the position. And look at this, Setzer underneath. They're going to rub a little bit more sheet metal.
See, Dennis Setzer would love to move up the racetrack a little bit. The problem is Steve Grissom's there.
He falls back into line, and another lap will go by the line this time down to 103 miles an hour. who's going to be the quickest. Now remember, qualifying for the pole by Jamie McMurray, 1:11. That shows you how much drop-off you get with the tire wear. Oh, and there's a contact, and that's going to get the Mopar Dodge loose.
Good hard racing here, but Dennis Setzer is hungry. He wants that second position.
Chapin, your quickest that last lap in the 84. One more time at the line. And again, speeds down below 100 miles an hour. That's how quickly you can get loose and drop speed here at Nashville.
Lost at least 2 miles an hour on that little wiggle.
And there is the fastest two, Chaffin and Joe Ruttman, at a little over 104 and change.
You know, we've got to give a call to Chad Chaffin. He comes in a one-off race. He does know the racetrack, but still, to run it against these guys and run in the top 5 like he is, he's doing yeoman's duty.
He won 2 track championships here, and he's doing a great job tonight. And here comes Dennis Setzer. I think he's got him this time. Can he make it stick?
He's using Steve Grissom up a little bit. He wanted that outside, so he moved into second lane, even though Steve was above him. But he was far enough alongside that he could do that without causing a problem.
So Dennis Setzer, who won here last year, is trying to repeat, get the Mopar Dodge team back on its winning track. Remember, they won once earlier this year, and that's when he had a cracked shoulder blade and came back to win at Nazareth 1 week later.
With 9 laps to go, Chad Chaffin may not be done with only in 4th position. He may get more.
There you see the 2nd through 5th, all the way back to Ruttman. And you're right, Chaffin is coming on. You've got Dodge running 1, 2, 3, then Chaffin in a Ford in 4th, and another Dodge in 5th. And Dodge last year took 3 of the top 5 positions, and right now, Randy Tolsma's here in every little creek and problem, and he's oh so close. He just lapped Mike Wallace again, so Wallace is 2 laps down in 13th position.
What Randy Tolsma is worried to death about right now is a caution flag, because Randy Tolsma does not want a green-white checker again, like it cost him the race out of Monroe, Washington.
That's exactly right. They made the choice. They pitted. They came back out. Couldn't catch back up. Lost it. Right now, this time by, there will be 5 laps remaining. Or should I say 6 laps remaining?
Chad Chaffin right now hopes there was about 16 laps remaining at least.
On board with Joe Ruttman. He is currently running in 5th. Came back from a dismal qualifying effort where he started 20th.
5 laps to go, Joe. 5 to go.
No need for us to tell you. Joe's Ruttman spotter just let you know. And the lead is 5 seconds. What a dominating second half of the race for Randy Tolsma, the way Jack Sprague dominated the front half.
Jack Sprague was that good early on in the race. Randy Tolsma was able to stay pretty close to him, so we knew Randy had a good truck.
Tolsma with traffic. Hold your breath. He got around Jason Tom in the 9. Here's Coy Gibbs in the MBNA. Oh, hold on.
Keep digging, Randy. Keep digging, buddy. Keep digging.
Did you hear the spotter?
You're clear. Come on, buddy.
His heart stopped too.
It took my breath anyway, Marty. I don't know about Randy's.
3 laps to go. Randy, 74 starts since his one and only win back at Mesa Marin. He's 2.5 laps from breaking the drought tonight. This time by 2 laps remaining. His lead has dropped down. Look at the 43 and the 84 going after it. That's Chad Chaffin trying to take over another spot. That would be for 3rd.
Steve Grissom, you know, wants to stay there because that would be his best career finish in the Truck Series.
Chaffin looks like he's going to bump him back. He's going to take over that 3rd position.
Now we've got Joe Ruttman in the 3 wide.
There is Tolsma. We'll get back to that final lap, final time. Tolsma looks like he's going to do it. 1 lap vehicle in front of him, Rick Ware. Meanwhile, all this battle is going on. This is Music City, USA. The tune that is going to be sung tonight is My Truck Kicked Your Butt, because, boy, it was dominating. Tolsma wins. Sets are going to be 2nd. Chaffin in a great run to 3rd. Ruttman 4th. And Steve Grissom rounds out your top 5. This is going to be an emotional victory lane. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this. Dave Burns, he's all yours. And Randy Tolsma is going to savor this moment
And the truck is not in gear. It's rolling away. The guys are going to keep it down. Do you think the crowd appreciated that? The final guitar given at Nashville Speedway, USA, goes to Randy Tolsma. He breaks a 73-race drought. That is a record among active drivers. That record is going to be scratched from the record book now. And it's pandemonium down here, Randy. A kiss from Tiffany. A big kiss from Tiffany. And Randy, give us your thoughts after so long and trying so hard and having so much bad luck already this year.
Yeah, I can't say enough about, of course, everybody that's given so much to me. Gary Showalter's given me a great truck. You know, so many times we know we've been short and failed to finish one, but tonight was the night. The guys did a great job on pit road. They got me up front. They got me the lead. Can't say enough about Citgo Superguard Motor Oil. I've had a great relationship with them. Love them to death. A lot of great people there. A lot of great gas stations across this country. And Dodge. I've been wanting to win one for Dodge, and I finally got it done tonight. And
you tried so hard, Randy, this year. What does this mean?
It means everything. You know, here before long, I'll probably break down and cry my eyes out, but I'm trying to keep some composure. I can't say just enough about the people behind me. David Hodson's done a lot. He spent a lot of his own money, done a lot to give me a great team, and it's nice to reward everybody in Impact Motorsports. So it's not just the 25 team, it's everybody.
All right, and the bad luck duck is dead, guys.
And 4 Dodges in the top 5. Take a look at the final results. Pick out your favorite driver. We had a total of 8 trucks on the lead lap. Refner in that 8th spot. And the points battle is going to shake up a little bit, but Mike Wallace did not take advantage. He was 13th. Biffle was 14th. Neither one really a factor in this one tonight. There is the points. Only 3 picked up by Wallace tonight, so it's a 190-point margin. Andy Houston moves back into 3rd, bumping Busch to 4th, and Randy Tolsma at one point in the year was 15th. He's now 6th in the points chase. 4th, Phil Parsons and Amy East, Dave Burns. I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for joining us. This has been a presentation of ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. We'll see you in 2 weeks from Chicago Motor Speedway. So long, everybody.
Road courses. We pick it up in turn 3 of lap 2. Tony Stewart on the inside in the orange car, going high and getting cozy with Gordon. Gordon scrapes the wall. Take another look. Gordon getting up close and personal with Stewart. After 27 and 90 laps, the leaders decide to pit. Bobby Labonte in the front car went in first place, but Steve Park comes up from behind in the yellow car to take the lead. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in a little trouble. With 3 laps to go, Mark Martin tries to make a move on Steve Park, and Park gets a little loose in the turn, but loose doesn't mean you can't win, and he does just that, beating out Mark Martin for his first ever Winston Cup victory. Park only had to wait through 77 starts to finally take the checkered flag. Jeff Burton finished 3rd, followed by Robbie Gordon and points leader Labonte. Stewart finished 6th, and Jeff Gordon wound up 23rd, and the bad blood between the two started flowing freely and loudly.
You're the one always busting my about taking it easy at the beginning. Hey, buddy, make up your mind, all right? We'll speed up, you won't have that problem. Hey! Just him and I.
Go in your truck, pull off. Please go in your truck.
Him and I. Yeah, why? Because I couldn't help it, Jeff. You think I did it on purpose? How many first lap? Make up your mind what you want to do. You know what? If you're going to do it, then I'm going to do it.